Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. I'm Katrina Ness, joined by Ted Ings, and we are at the Niello Company in the newest Porsche store on in America. So it has been a wonderful day here, filled with lots of informative different panels, and we're so excited for this one.
And Katrina, we have some great talent. We want to welcome Derek Simonds, our friend from Numa, who's with us. Derek, welcome to the Niello Company and the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Tully, thanks for hosting. Absolutely. I'm glad to be here.
And Chung Kingwe's here as well.
Of course.
Sure. Nobody even cares about talk about the puppy.
A lot of familiar faces on this panel. Derek, who do you have down here?
That's my partner Diego. He's with me all the time. So if you see me speak, he's been up on stage with me almost everywhere. NADA, digital dealer, all the places.
What a pleasure to have Diego joining us on this panel as well.
Yep.
So, Derek, for people who don't know, quick overview: what is Numa?
So Numa is an AI-powered communications platform, right? And so we're looking at this from the standpoint that we're helping dealers re-architect the way that they do business by making them an AI-native dealership, right? Through these really cool things called AI agents. And so we're able to build out these AI agents that actually are capable of doing different tasks at the dealership. They can help with voicemail, right? They can help with appointments. They can help with status updates, all these different functions that get overflow from when the dealership can't actually answer the phone. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Tully, you and I have talked about when dealerships don't answer the phone and what happens to that customer and where that goes. And I know that's of great concern to you.
It is, and this is what's really exciting about Numa is that when we look at CSI disasters or customer disasters, it's not what it really comes down to is that we didn't answer the phone. And they could be having an emergency on the side of the road, or they could be somewhere else, or they could have an issue that we could resolve in 2 seconds. And what happens if it goes to voicemail? What happens when we're busy? We don't answer the phone. Nothing. When we're busy, we don't look at our voicemails. And next thing you know, you're answering a call tomorrow, where tomorrow could be 3 to 4, even 12 hours later. Doesn't really work. And what Numa is going to do for us is kind of like it's our backstop of, wait a minute, you have a person that really needs you right away. The person there, that person, say, doesn't actually look at that, doesn't get that email. It goes to the manager. We're kind of holding it accountable so the manager can step in. Our goal is we just want to provide first class and help our CSI score, which ultimately does what? Helps our retention.
Definitely. Tully, how long have you guys been working with Numa?
Numa and I, we've had a great relationship in the past. We've talked about a lot of things that we do, but really talking about they're developing where they want to go next. Talking about how is the backstop working for us to make the Niello company better? How can we help our great service advisors, our F&I managers, our salespeople, which are people in the front active, be better? Because we know we're not going to answer every phone call.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I got a good person that's a backstop that says, hey, you got a person you need to call right away, and it gets that email out. That's what we're looking for.
So I think that there's 3 things that are really critical to way that Tully's specifically talking about voicemails. One is we need to drive accountability to that conversation. Everybody that's in fixed ops has walked through the shop at the end of the night and seen the lights on the service advisor phones blinking, knowing those are customers not getting a call back, right? We also have done over 2,000 mystery shops with OEMs. The average response time for a service advisor to a voicemail is 22 hours and 7 minutes. That's 22 hours too long. We're all in agreement with that. So right now, national average, and we answered 8 million phone calls last year for dealership operations. National average for response time for advisors is 13 minutes and 30 seconds because they're on the clock, because they're accountable. And when you look at it from this standpoint, the power of AI is that we can do a lot of processing really rapidly with these agents. And so if you have a heat case, I'm broke down on the side of the road, this is ridiculous, boom, slams the phone. That is not waiting to get escalated. That's immediately escalated to the appropriate member of the team. Same thing with finance. If the customer calls in and they're upset, I'm getting calls from my bank because I didn't make my payment this month, right? And they are with customers back to back to back. We already know that needs to be processed and handed to another person to get involved. So we're catching those silent defectors, right, or not so silent defectors in some cases, before they had that chance to do that. And so it's a game changer from that standpoint.
And I think a lot of times too, when you look at a customer that's upset, a lot of times humans do not want to deal with that issue.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too is that if we have a backstop to come in there, now we can call that person with evidence of what's going to happen, right? We know what their problem's all about. They're on the road. I already called a tow truck. I'm so sorry this happened. Versus, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Right. And our goal is that we have now that backstop. We have this product that can help us make sure that we can actually solve the customer. Because here's the deal. What does CSI really stand for? Customer supplies income, right? And it's all about retention.
Sure, percent. That's what it is. 100%. I seen you chomping at the bit when you get in. I actually heard about you. You were one of the earliest people who told me about Numa way back when.
Correct. Now one of the biggest pet peeves I have on my service drive is I hate voicemail. I take it away from my advisors because you're not going to use it anyway. I would rather have the phone ring and get the disrespect of not answering it than leaving a voicemail and anticipating a call back. You don't dare get it. They're never going to get it. And if it's a day, it's a day too long. I always have the story where we have a hot water heater go bad. Listen, we have a contract with somebody. They didn't answer. I went to somebody I didn't have one because I can't wait. You can't afford to wait. This is outside of their home, what's bigger in their life than their vehicle? It's how they pay their bills, quite frankly. And then we put them off. And I know I told the story earlier of somebody not answering the phone or putting it back in the advisor's hands, where in 1 year you lose almost 1,800 repair orders. Do the math, guys. At $500, $600 an RO at a 70% retention, it's difference between you profitable or not profitable is answering the phone.
What's crazy is that if you look at the stats right now, if you look at the stats that are tied to customer satisfaction, customer supplied incomes, right? You look at the stats on advisors, 83% of the time that the phone rings their desk, they don't answer the call.
Correct.
So, and out of that, 41% of those calls at a typical dealership are status updates. That we've already failed that customer, right? I would always say that.
Yeah,
And so if we can't hold the advisor accountable to the actions behind what's happening on that phone, we're not going to ever get anywhere. And so when we do this, we actually stack rank the advisors. How many heat cases did you have last week? What was your average response time? How many times did we have to escalate this to your manager because you didn't respond in 15 minutes?
status phone calls.
Yes.
So we're sitting in a 20 group last week, actually, in Charleston, and there's 22 dealers in here. And because phones are such a focus in my group right now, I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do mystery shops to your own store.
Oh, no.
And the entire room interrupted. I said, well, then we don't have to do them because everybody in the room already on answer. All we're going to do is embarrass you. And we did it, and the results were exact. They might have been a little worse, to be honest. Have you ever listened to your own advisors answer the phones?
I wish we had more time to talk about.
I also think another thing is that when you find out that a service advisor has too many voicemails, I believe that we're overworking that service advisor. I believe less is better. I believe that we want to have the success. I believe looking at ratios from techs to writers to make sure the technician and the service advisor has the time to spend with that customer. So if that core service writer is writing up 20 ROs, he's not going to answer the phone. He is not going to sell anything, and he's not driving repeat referral business. But if I have that person do 8 calls, 8 ROs a day, and then I look at Numa and say, he doesn't have voicemail problems, that guy's probably making more money, bar none, than everybody else, because what is he doing? He is great on customer to customer. Customers are saying yes, and guess what? He gets to go home at. He's home at 5, having a great time. The guy rating 20 is going home at 9 o'clock selling nothing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because he's out of time.
Definitely. So
It works.
we are at the start and getting into 2025.
Yes.
What are some of the most important processes for dealers to focus on in yours and in Numa's eyes?
Well, the response time.
Yep.
Literally, if we can't answer the phone, how quick are we getting back to them? And then I really, truly believe that we have to hold advisors accountable to status updates. And you don't have to have Numa to do this, right? Literally, you can have your receptionist, what they call, I need Tully. Are you calling about a status on your car? Yes. Check car. Listen, if we're not tracking that today, you're failing your team because they are not doing it.
All right, a lot to come, everybody. Derek, congratulations. Numa is big, growing. You're becoming a huge force of the industry. Congratulations to you. We got some big names with you.
Yeah.
So looking forward to hearing a lot more about what you're doing.
Awesome. Thanks. Thank you, everybody.
So everybody, Derek Simonds from Numa with Sean Kingree, Tully Williams, and Katrina Ness. We're here at the Niello Company in Sacramento, and we're going to be right back.